either. I don't know what that was. So I loved it already. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I do bits and they fall out. It doesn't. I don't care. Woo! I've lost my mind already. This is great. It's 4 p.m. If you're here on East Coast on Wednesday, I'm Mark. This is my show, MarkTalk. If you like the show, of course, please share it, talk to your friends, all that good things. Like it, share, subscribe. If you want to help in other ways, there are things I'm not ready to talk about yet, but I'm really excited about this. That might need some help financially. I'm trying to do some cool theatrical things on this page. If you go code-free.com/MarkLevy85, that will help the show and help me get some cool theatrical experiences your way. But yeah, so today I'm continuing with my tradition recently of talking to game show hosts and mini game creators that I have a lot of love and respect for. And this is a game that, oh my God, I heard it was fun, and then I played the second season, and I had a blast, and I love the two people I'm bringing on today. We're talking to Monarch. I've got the host and creator, Ganjo. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you, Mark?
Good. And I've got Aiden, production everyman, right? That's the best way to put what you do?
I do what Ganjo needs. I help out. We have a good time.
Yeah. But I am so happy to have y'all here because you two are two people I have only love for in my heart, and I'm so happy to have you here.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, Mark. Period.
Nice. So let's talk about the Monarch. Well, let's talk about I love the format of the game. I think the format is one of my favorite things. It's a lot like Injury, how everyone plays for about an hour and a half or so, and then the game actually eliminations happen. Let's talk about how the beginning part of the game. Let's just talk about the Monarch, right?
Period. Okay, yeah, the Monarch is a different type of game where it's all the same, where you vote people out and you scheme and everything, but the difference is everybody's up for elimination at all times. So I like that value of it, where if you have a target, they're not safe unless they can use their powers wisely.
Yeah. Let's talk about how people get the powers, because the first 7 rounds of the game are 7 competitions that the top 4 people get powers from.
Yeah, so basically the whole point of the game is the first half of the game is all competitions. So you do 7 competitions, and like Mark said, first through 4th will receive a power of different levels, different variation of importance. And then the second half is all vote-offs. So the first half with all the competitions, it could be anything like trivia, a math problem, little stuff like that, memory comps, anything that can try to balance out the field. And my goal is to spread out as many powers as I can, but I can't control people being good at comps or not. So I try to implement certain competitions or certain challenges that could be all different type of skill sets.
Yeah, what we like about the comps too, right? In theory, we try to get it done within the first hour because we really want to keep the momentum going. But in theory, right, if the players are paying attention and they're really into the game, targets are creating themselves, or they're already starting to build bonds, so that the first couple of rounds in these games where it's like, hey, what do you want to do? I don't know. I don't want to say any names. You at least have a little bit of rationale for those early targets.
Brandy, it's 1 through 4 for each comp. So, yes. And there's one comp that is the luxury comp where people coming up to, I think, 6.
4.
4. Oh, okay. I want
basically. Yes,
I thought it was 5 at least.
But no, the luxury comp is 4. But it's it's they obviously, the farther you get, the more likely you will get a better power. So there's a lot of different ways for you to get powers, but the luxury comp is literally luck. So it's
yeah. Yeah. What I love about this game is I feel like in both seasons I played, I had a good amount of powers. I think I had the average amount of powers in the season I played this past weekend. But I was definitely the top tier of powers in my first season, and I used that to take out the person with the most powers, which is Keith. And then made myself and Aaron like the top people with powers, I think, in the first season. But are people always getting targeted for the powers, or do other things like outside game relationships get brought up or anything like that?
You want to answer this, Aiden?
Yeah, it kind of depends. I would say, and we've seen it develop like over the course of the seasons, and it's not like, hey, I saw season 4, so I know what's up. It's like sometimes the people with the most powers are targeted. Sometimes they band together and they kind of are a force. And other times, what will happen, like what kind of happened in this past season, right? Like Matt was one of the people who had the most amount of powers.
Yeah.
The rest of the cast kind of forced his hand and made him burn a lot of those powers. So he used a lot of the powers the first or second round, but then he was clean for like so many rounds where he didn't become a target. So sometimes using those powers early on, even though it would be best to save them, takes the target off of you a little bit, which is a strategy in and of itself.
Yeah. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think Henry told me he had like the most powers in the season he won. And that was the first season.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
okay, granted, the first season was a little different because we had 3 extra comps, and I'm trying to think about the numbers. I don't think the numbers were too thrown off, but yeah, actually, I mean, speaking of Henry, he actually was a great first winner, to be honest, because he set the stage of what was capable, I guess, and not give him all credit because obviously whoever wins the first season of anything will probably introduce something. But I don't know. I feel like he did one thing at the end that I was just like, wow. I'm not saying I didn't think of it, but it kind of took somebody out of contention where he literally just blocked somebody's vote at the final 3. And that was big because he basically said, you don't even have any, say in this, and figure it out basically. And I don't want to say he kind of scared the other person. Yeah, I don't want to say he kind of scared the other person into going a certain way, but whoever got second place, it was easy for them to jump on that name as well. So
I mean, yeah, because you're right. You can save 2 of the block vote powers for final 3, and then you have the soul vote too, which is pretty fascinating too.
Well, technically no, because you can only use one tier per round. So that's why that specific rule. So introducing this rule, well, the powers, there's 4 tiers, and there's a Reggie's tier, a Miz tier, a Dank tier, and exotic tier. And the powers are spread out between those 4 tiers, but you are only allowed to play 1 power per tier each round. So you can play different tiers, it's just not multiple of the same tier, which helps out in a long game where somebody can't just bulldoze their way through.
This is a very important question I just came up on Facebook.
Amazing, actually.
I love Naomi. Like, I literally, like, y'all know that Naomi is a friend of mine in real life, so it's just like, yeah! I should finally win a game because she always gets sniped at, like, Final 4, which is what happened in an adventure game for her, so.
I'll like that you brought up that point, especially because the Monarch is designed for someone to protect themselves if they're good socially for long enough. So I personally, and I would say Aiden also may have this problem where we play a game and towards the end of the game, it's so easy to throw our name out as the biggest target or somebody who's been doing such and such and such. Well, in a Monarch, you're able to actually defend against yourself if you're able to save some powers towards the end. And you basically could potentially push the vote a certain way with whatever powers you have.
And what's cool with that too is obviously like the higher tier powers have more power in theory, right? Like a double voter or having a vote that has a lot more power than just an extra vote in theory. But what we found is that like the lowest tier powers, right? The Reggie's tier power, as the game progresses, they actually increase in power because when you decrease the amount of people there, blocking 1 vote matters. Stealing a vote and casting it on another person, that matters a lot more with 6 or 7 than it does with 14 or 15, which is really fascinating.
Yeah. Of course, Naomi brings up a good point. She had 2 powers at the end, but he used them because she didn't want to come out like to be mean, and that makes me.
I mean,
because Naomi's not mean.
You gotta do what you gotta do, and you did what you had to do to win.
What I love also is like when I first played, you guys were like, "Hey, you have Camden Seedle," but now it's like, "Hey, you have 3 Reggie tiers," and I like that changed. a lot from specific to you can choose what you want.
And I would say now, me and Aiden have worked together very well with like getting different type of, I guess, game types going, where we have like the base of the Monarch, and then we're able to like introduce something like Marketplace 1 or Marketplace 2. Or Marketplace 1 was, like you said, originally you will get specifically a Carter's Mac. Let's say you win a Reggie's tier, Reggie's power, you'll get a Carter's Mac. In Marketplace 1, we decided to just give them that tier instead and let them choose what they wanted to do. And then Marketplace 2, we gave them actual currency in the form of gems, and they were able to buy and basically barter their money around to make shit happen. So I personally feel like we're in like another zone where it basically we don't know if this is gonna stay or not. We don't know where to officially go with, how to distribute the powers. We're very flexible. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's really cool. Like, and also, if people are really confused with the powers, you can see it all up. It's on the pinned tweet on the Monarch game at Twitter. Like, there's like 20 powers in the game, right?
Yeah, there's a power called Symmetra's Oil, which is a dank tier power, and you're able to use that power to switch your vote count with anybody you want. We have something called a Caminus Needle, which is a mid power, and you are able to cut your vote count in half or anybody's vote count in half you would like. And then we have stuff like, obviously Sean's Fork is an extra vote, so which is a Reggie's tier power. All of these powers are supposed to give people choices.
Like, how'd you come up with the names for these?
Ironically, okay, so I have a friend named Daryl, not Darrell, and it's ironic because my real name is Darrell. But we got real cool, and then one day I was like, bro, I need some names, and I was like, I need like 10 or 15 names. Give me some names, and I think he gave me about 20 of them. I basically I used probably half of his, half of mine, and I just decided to put an inanimate object behind it, and I feel like most of them fit like the power, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I was just curious because I remember like when I was like, because I know like you're a really smart guy and that's like one of the many things I love about you. But like when I remember like when I was like playing the game, I'm like, these names are insane. The tiers don't fully make sense in names, but they kind of do. You look like I just like did something really silly. But that's okay.
No, you made me happy.
Well, I mean, like, what I love about the Monarch is that it really is unlike any other game. Like, it really is about social connections, but also how you navigate that first half of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yes. When I thought of the game, I initially felt like whoever can do good in this game will be the ultimate social butterfly. And once I thought of that, and I knew that, like, I don't say I knew for sure, but like, Sandra is always calling herself the queen. Tony just started calling himself the king when he won. And I felt like, oh, well, being a winner is cool, but being a king or a queen is better. And then when I thought of the social butterfly instance, I was like, wow, like if you put them two together, like the Monarch Kingdom plus the Monarch Butterfly, I think this is a good game. Basically, because I feel like you have to be social to win this game.
Yeah. How did you two find each other? Because I know, like my experience of like knowing you guys came in such a weird way. Like, so I remember I heard of the Monarch before I knew who Ganjo was, and I only heard the Monarch by like 2 days or so, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's a Black Run game, and then I met Aiden at Right to Vote, and which I think was your first game, right, Aiden?
Yep.
Yeah, but I just am curious, like how your brains came together and became a really cool duo.
You want to answer this, Aiden?
Yeah. So I mean, we both kind of came into this mini community around the same time, right? Like, I played that first game with you, Mark, that Friday. The next week, Friday, was Haunted House Party, the first season. Ganjo and I were both in that. We kind of we didn't really work together in that. I like to hold this against him. He voted for me in that game. I have never voted against Ganjo. He voted for me. But we met there. We didn't really work together. Then the next night, Saturday, we played Banishment, like 4 or something.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I went out first jury member, was like super hammered in the jury room or whatever. Ganjo comes out. He comes in like 6th or 5th or something. And we're just talking. We're just like kind of shooting the breeze. We worked together in that game. And he's like, yeah, I got my first game tomorrow. I was like, oh, bro, like if you need any help or anything, let me know. And he's like, I actually could use some help. So then the next day, Sunday, I help him out with this game. I don't know how he was going to do it without another person. And like, that's not even saying,
no, that's real.
That's not even saying that like, I'm the greatest and like, he can't do it without me, but like, there's a lot going on and I don't know how he was going to do it on his own. I helped him out and then I was like, bro, like I'm in it. Like, this is sweet. And then ever since, Ganjo and I are just kind of this pair.
Yeah, I would say,
sorry, I just want to bring this up because I do think this would be really great, and we could probably help him put that together. It does have really great LRG ability though, like. But
we've had conversations.
Most definitely.
Continue though. I just want to bring that up.
Oh no, I got you. No, I was about to piggyback off what Aiden said. I felt like after like we worked, we like kind of really didn't get to work together in Haunted Mansion Party, but then we worked in Banishment. We actually worked very well together with minimally knowing each other. And then when I got to the jury, when I tell you I was so happy that Aiden was okay with helping me, you know what I'm saying, in any capacity. And then the next day, like, he is not lying to you. Like, I probably would have not been able to do that shit by myself because it was just so much. And like, it was a lot going on. Obviously, it's your first game. You're going to have problems naturally. And then the whole format would just take a lot just in general. So shout out to Aiden for coming in. And I'm actually so happy because I really feel like I found a friend, a homie that hopefully we can take this as far as we can because shout out to this man.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are both really good dudes. So that like makes me really happy. Like I just remember, like when I met Aiden, I just clicked with him instantly and right to vote. My time in that game was very short. I especially love Keith. I'm very okay with that being a thing. We all need to experience every level of elimination. That's true. But like I remember my first experience with Ganjo, he was basically still painting a banishment. But yeah, no, like it was so cool. Like, because I remember seeing the Monarch, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, I never heard of this guy. I hope it's good. And then, like, literally, my friend Henry, we were in 530 together. Like, he was like, oh my god, this game is so good. And then I remember, like, that was like the same because I think you had season 2 like the day after, right?
It was a few days. It was like either a few days after. It was a pop-up game. Like, you can't, like, it wasn't supposed to be a game. Yes.
Yeah. But how about this? I have a question though, Aiden. Like, what was it like? Because I know how insane that Zoom can get, like chat-wise. How do you handle all of that as a person taking down everything?
Yeah, so the first season was wild because like I was learning the game, right? Like Ganjo knew his game, he knew his powers. I was learning this new language while also trying to record it and make sense of it. So season 1 was kind of crazy. And the first couple seasons were hard keeping track of everything in the chat because people refuse to vote and play powers at the same time. And then they have questions. So we actually just took from Stark, who took from Dina, I believe, this idea of a voting form, which just makes everything so simple. And at this point, I'm just like the powers are second nature to me. So it's pretty straightforward. It's all about just like, how can you make life as easy as possible, right? How can you cut back any type of, and like, there were a couple times where I've made mistakes or almost made mistakes with powers and things. So just having it all in one place is really helpful. But that first game was crazy. Mm-hmm. I was like, what the fuck is a Mavericks Aviator? I have no idea.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Like, I didn't think of like how much the players was learning the game and Aiden was learning the game at the same time. and I was learning how to run the game all at the same time. It was a mess.
And what's cool with that too, sorry Mark, but like the first couple of seasons especially, we got to like very specific cases of like, I was like, hey Ganjo, I gotta give you a phone call right now. It's like, hey, this person played this, but this person played this, and I don't know what we should do here, or we have a tie, or like, so we were like, a lot of the early games, we're just making decisions on the fly of like, hey, this is gonna be it, right? Like we have a rule. Kind of tell them about Lane's rule, Ganjo.
You talking about Lane's rule, yeah?
Yeah, right. Like season 1, right? There was a case where I think it was like a 4-4-1 vote, and we were like, how do we break this tie? And Ganjo's like, well, who was the one vote? And I was like, hey, it was Lane. And we publicly say this, and we're like, hey, Lane, you have to choose between these two because you didn't vote for them. So we have, if you don't vote in the majority in a tie, you're the people who then vote, which kind of can blow some people up, but it also, I don't know, it's kind of fun.
The only wrench in that plan is if you're the person who also got votes. That's the only time you won't be able to vote.
Right. I remember like because with the form, you don't see who you voted for. So like my brain had me definitely. I knew I did vote for Dana. I knew that for a fact. And I knew I was going after Nadeem. I don't remember I voted for Nadeem. And then like I saw I'm like, oh yeah, I voted for Nadeem. That makes sense.
That's so funny.
I do love, like, as a person that's been a fan of this game since very early on, to see how it's changed so much. Like, however, I mean, yeah, this game could be fun. It's like, no, this game is good. Like, it's run well, it's cast well. Like, what would be like the big changes, like, through the seasons? Like, has this been getting more comfortable, or?
I would say the big changes, first and foremost, every game, me and Aiden is more and more locked in on what we're doing. Like, we're more and more confident of, knowing what we need to do and what time we need to do it. I would say, obviously, the voting form has helped tremendously because it's cut down a decent amount of time. And I also believe, one thing I took from great thing I took from Rob. Shout out to Rob. Everybody should play Castaway. Boom, we let us see it.
So good.
Basically, I was having big troubles. Okay, I guess I'm about to introduce this part first. Sometimes I talk in circles, but bear with me. So basically, I introduced confessionals into the ether, where after they talk and they were like in the round where they're scheming in the Zoom rooms, they will come back to the main room and then they will vote. And then while they're voting, I'll pull in people for confessionals. Early on, I think I started doing that season 5. And then when I first did it, I was having so much trouble getting people in and out of breakout rooms and like in and out of confessionals, multiple people was popping in. It was kind of messy. And then I just kind of studied what Rob was doing, and Rob opens up basically his entire Zoom in all the breakout rooms that are always open. He never closes them. So when I did that the last 2 games, I was able to pull people in and send people back to one room way cleaner. So that's another thing that like had to get, fixed and changed on the spot. And we're always down to keep like getting better and keep growing and fixing any bullshit that we got going on. Like we're most definitely trying to improve at all points.
Yeah, no, the confessionals were jarring to me because the last season, I remember I watched a little bit of a season also that I was not playing one time. And I was just like, oh, cool. Because I know, like, what I love now also is like you're recording, I think you're going to edit or whatever and put it out there. It's such a fun game to watch. Like, it's so fascinating to watch. Like, granted, for me, every time I watch the game, I've only been able to watch the end game because they do really good till the end game. But that's how that goes sometimes. So you're now starting to do all-star seasons. I know you just had one last weekend. How did it go about like casting for like that season?
Particularly with that season, Aiden and I, we had big ideas where we knew there was like, I compare it to David versus Goliath. So like basically you have the Goliaths of people who you could win, you could play very hard to get taken out. Our basic like criteria was if we felt like you, I guess, played hard enough and got to a decent point and showed that you were going to fight no matter what, we kind of wanted to put them into, let's say, a season X. That's the second part of All-Star seasons. But it got hard where it was a lot of people in this situation. Like, it was a lot of people where we felt like, okay, they can go here, we could put them here, we could put them here, boom, bam. So then it was like, okay, fuck it. Let's try to lock in a decent amount of names, right? Off rip. And then let's bring back people for a season and basically have them get another chance to play to prove that they deserve to be there, type shit. So we wanted to give people who didn't get to play a game in a minute to, see what they can do and see if they were able to, outmaneuver the rest. So I think the season 9 Precious Cargo, it came together very organically, I feel. And Barhos, I was so excited about the cargo twist. Like, first, I was so excited about that.
Twist. Like, that was such a great twist because the only person I knew that had some of those cargo was Sean, and his cargo went out immediately. So, like, we should talk about that cargo twist because that twist was brilliant for the Monarch.
Okay, so shout out to Aiden for naming it because it was about to be something crazy before it. We're gonna leave that in the ether. But basically, Precious Cargo basically was a game theme that I kind of got from both Santi and JD, with Santi's Dark Horse and JD's Bounty Hunter. And I like the idea of, if you get to the end of the game, you get an auto win. And I like the idea of having some kind of bounty or something that could help you get to the end. And when I meshed them two together, it made sense to be like, okay, instead of getting your bounty out, if you're able to take your bounty to the end and get to the final 2 with them, you will automatically win the game, regardless of who's in the jury or not. And shout out to Alex in Precious Cargo season 9. Alex was the last one who had his cargo in, and it was either basically him or Dana going home, and then they rightfully took out Alex. Like, even though we want to see the, obviously the twist pay off, but he was about to win, so they had to take him out. But he was like really this close to winning. So I had so much fun watching you guys try to find out, whose cargo was left, what you wanted to do with your own cargo, and how you felt like that affected your game. So I think it worked out ultimately. I liked it.
Yeah. I remember on my end, like, I had no idea who had people left at the end. Like when I was still in the game. Because I remember I was saying, I'm in such good shape. I feel I was in good shape.
You were in good shape.
I was in good shape. And then I probably should have used the power in the double elimination round. But when I saw the voting chart and I saw there were 5 people that still had their cargo out of the 7 people that were left, is so insane to me. And like, I remember how much I was just yelling at Matt, which I've never done that in the game before, because I was never voting for him because of that. But like, also because he was actually a good ally. But it was so fascinating because, like, for me, like, I didn't know Matt. I knew most of the rest of the cast. Either from playing with them in my season, which was Connor, or knowing them from other games. And it was just really fascinating to watch it, like how you're able to get such link step with someone while they have a secret alliance that you don't know about, and you might be in their secret alliance.
Yeah,
like me and Courtney were number 1s for each other in that game. Except for the fact that we both had cargo.
Right. Except for you had your cargos, right? Because you had Matt and she had Alex. Yeah, I mean, it, like we discussed it basically gives an easy way to work with somebody, but at the same time, that person doesn't have to work with you. So like it helps the game, I guess, kind of flow better, if that makes sense. Where, let's say, like you said, you were trying to save Matt, but Matt has no reason to save you because you're not his cargo. So, but you wanted him there. But it's like basically it created a web of strategic value, and which I really love watching.
And what was cool, what we were kind of not hoping for, but like it would have really paid off is the final four. There was a link, right? Courtney had Alex, who had Josh. So if Dana goes out there, right, even though Dana balled out, she was a great second place, we would have three people.
Taking me out.
we would have had three people in the final three who the cargo twist was in play for, except for Josh. Josh would have just been sitting there like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And it just would have been interesting to see how that played out, right? Like Alex going against Courtney, but then Courtney actually going against Josh, right? Like it just would have been this shoot. Like I don't know how Courtney would have swung that at all, but
it was messy. Cause just imagine somebody trying to vote you out, and you're like, okay, I don't even want to vote you out. Let me vote him out.
Yeah,
let me press it out. Yeah,
and Alex pitched his case so well. I was like
he
it was also like
out.
it was like that was a winning move, not just because of the rules, but like that was a big fucking move.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun watching, and like I don't know. I guess Aiden can answer this too. Like the same that will comment on this. The progression and the evolution of the game and how people play is just getting so much better. Like every new game, people do stuff that surprises me, and I really love it. Like I get so much enjoyment with hosting the Monarch. That makes no sense.
Yeah, I feel like every season we've had like one signature move that's brand new, right? Like this past season, Nadeem literally deleted Ali from the game by himself.
He eliminated someone.
Like there was like 12 people in the game at that point, and he said, "I'm gonna use these two powers and get her out." Right? 2 or 3 seasons ago, we had like an alliance. I think it was something like 8-3 or something, and they were able to flip it with their powers, right? Like they all used an extra vote, these 3 people, and they used an Adora stick to double it. So 3 people defeated 8. Like it was just like really cool things happen. And it's cool because I feel like Ganjo and I have this conversation every game. It's like, I don't know how we would play this game. Like we don't know what our strategy would be. Like we can talk about it, but it's like, I don't know what the hell I would do.
Yeah, same. I don't know what I would do.
Like, what are some of your favorite?
No, you can go. What was your question?
No, I was going to change the subject. You go.
No, I was about to just say, like, I feel like it'd be unfair mostly for us to play because we're so indoctrinated into it and like we think of stuff, but it's moves that I think of that I don't even know if I would even put that into the ether because I won't be able to figure it out themselves. But it's certain stuff that I would. Okay, actually, I will say this before I forget. There's specifically one power that trips everybody up, and I was thinking about taking it out, thinking about switching it up, but no, I think it works. So basically, it's called Lawanda's coin, right? And
that's
when
you confused the hell out of me.
Yes, this one confuses a lot of people. So basically, the objective of the power is if you are able to use this power, right? It is a mid-level power. You're able to use this power to exchange your power, like another different power, for somebody's vote. And basically, you have to work in tandem with somebody else that they're willing to give you their vote for that round, basically to gain a power. And I think that is valuable because you only can play one Sean's Fork around, right? But if you have an extra vote that's through Lawanda's coin, you could play them both because they're on 2 different tiers.
So that's 3 votes right there.
Yeah, that's 3 votes right there. And let's say you got a Dora stick, boom, that's 6. So like it's a lot of playability with but I mean that is expensive trade. I ain't gonna hold you up. That was like at least 5. That's 5 powers right there. Or that's 5 points worth of powers. That's two mids and one. Actually that's 6 because it's 2 mids, 2 mids and 2 Reggies. It's expensive, but you can get a motherfucker out if you need to. And it's not always just one person that could do it. You could work in teamwork. Like Monarch Marketplace 2, a lot of people was exchanging gems. Like a lot of people was giving gems away to people, and gems was used basically as fire tokens to buy powers instead of winning them. So I think that's one thing that opened our eyes up, where people in season 8 was willing to trade a lot in that game, and that's another level to the game where you're not obligated to keep your powers. You can trade them with people. You can give them away. You can accept them, obviously, from other people. It's a lot of playability with what you win in the comps. So like just because you won a certain amount of powers in the competitions, that does not mean you're not able to use your social game to get more from other people if you need to.
Yeah, like so. Tell me like powers and stuff like that. Like, what are some of your favorite moves from previous seasons?
Obviously, that minority 3-8 vote where they like flipped the vote. Henry's blocking that vote at the final 3. That was nuts. Let me think.
There was one season, the Jeremy vote.
Mhm.
Like something happened. Here, I'm gonna go look it up quick, Ganjo. You fill the space because I want to make sure I get the numbers right.
Yes. I also like when people successfully and unsuccessfully uses a Symmetra oil, because it's a lot of risk and reward to switching your vote count with somebody, and it must be super awkward to switch your vote count with the person who's supposed to go home.
Because that happened in the most recent season. I know that.
Yes,
like the awkward part.
Mm-hmm.
This vote from season 4. Essentially, they had 5 votes on one guy. They steal a vote to put another vote on him. Then they put a Sean Spork. So they have 7 votes. They play 2 Adora Sticks. Jeremy ended up with 28 votes cast against him because in the Monarch, we let things add on top of each other. So like an Adora Stick and a Candace Needle, half and double, they cancel each other out. But 2 Adoras really doubles that shit up. And they erased him.
That's the most votes I've ever heard in any game.
Yes. Was that 28 votes? Yes.
Yeah, I've always gone out with 2 or less votes, so that's where I'm at. Future seasons, don't do that to me, please. I want to win. Well, sorry.
No.
I should whip All Stars 2 because I'm really excited about All Stars 2. Like, what are your plans for that?
Our plans for All Stars 2. I can tell you the name. The name will be, Season X, the Legend of Fury, and that's basically named after my friend from high school. So, not to be sad, but he died in high school, and I really kind of wanted to basically celebrate, him or whatever with the name of, the Monarch or whatever. So we named it that. And I guess another thing I can tell you is we got a few winners there. We got a few, non-winners. We got a few, mid juries. We got it all. But I tell you, this is going to be the best cast Aiden and I have put together, and it came all organically. Me and Aiden was on the same page the entire time.
When is it? I know that it's coming up. I don't know when.
The game is The game is March 14th, so it's in 2 Sundays from now, and we're gonna do our cast drop on Sunday. This Sunday coming up.
Like this, nice. That's gonna be exciting. Considering how good the cast was for Precious Cargo, if your sentence is better than that, then I believe that. Because. What I also loved about Precious Cargo for myself is I had no idea who was playing the fucking game until the Zoom call, and then I'm like, oh my god, Josh Calhoun, oh my god, Ali, oh my god, Nadim, it was really cool. Oh my god, Connor, that guy that I was really against in season 2, who I was working with until I had to vote him out, and that was but yeah. What are your plans after All Stars?
For sure to go.
That you can talk about.
Oh yes, most definitely. I mean, my plans after All Stars is for sure to get a few newbie cast in. It's a lot of people that I not only want to play. I think they want to play as well. A lot of people who signed up and did not get to play before we start doing these All-Star seasons, I really want to get them into the games. But specifically, I'm planning, sans any BS happening, I'm planning to start streaming from season X on. So after this All Stars 2 game, I plan on streaming the game through Twitch. So those are the big plans, I guess. Did I miss anything, Aiden?
No, I mean, definitely want to do newbie seasons, but we also had people who just were out super early, right? And have a desire to try again, right? Like season 9, first All Stars, that was for people who we saw a lot of potential and did some things, but there are some people who just didn't get that chance. So I'm sure in a couple seasons we'll kind of have an early boot season or something like that. I mean, you kind of mentioned it. I think Naomi said it right, an LRG. I mean, Ganjo and I just talk about what that could look like. I mean, that's probably far out, but just what would that look like, right?
It's
what would an Adora stick look like? Stuff like that, dreaming big. And I mean, Ganjo, you can kind of talk about the Monarch Gaming Network. You kind of talked about streaming. I think that's also connected to the game.
Yes. So basically, it's going to hopefully be streamed under, not hopefully, it's going to be streamed under an account where I'm going to stream other stuff too. Basically, it's just a whole network worth of certain days we'll stream the Monarch and the other days we'll actually be streaming other things. Basically, it's a whole gaming network type situation versus just a gaming channel, I guess, just for the Monarch.
And that could be a situation where not being connected to a game, maybe Ganjo and I do commentary on it, right? Banishment has their commentators, but maybe Ganjo and I just do our own tip. It's whatever. People have really gone into Catan. I don't know. I just kind of thought of this, Ganjo, right? Ben O'Connell just balled out in a Catan tournament. Maybe setting a Catan tournament up within the Monarch Gaming Network and providing that as a source of entertainment too. And just I don't know, more because people love this community, but sometimes playing 2-3 games a month where you vote people out is too much. I like other ways to connect and just still compete in a way too.
Yes. We love using the community in a positive way and giving people voices. So anybody who want to play Catan, want to play TFT, want to play anything, hit us up. You know what I'm saying? Want to play the Monarch, hit us up. And play Adventure Game, obviously, because period.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the best I can. You both did great when you played it, and you're gonna be invited back to my All-Star game. That's real. I don't care.
I know this is not about us, but as a fellow host, talking to you, Mark, I really do like your game. I like the concept. I like your storytelling. I like that, you're not scared to think outside the box. I just feel like you're really good energy, and I not only appreciate your game, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you for having us on here. Shout out to you.
Thank you. Thanks. For real. As you probably are aware, MarkTalk is going to be going away soon because my schedule gets weird. Well, I mean, that's just real. Because once I have my job back, I can't just be at 4 p.m. recording when I work at a movie theater. That's just real. But I want to be doing things that feel creative while it's still not. I still want to use my friends are creative in this community for creative, fun things, and I'm still figuring that out on my end because I've got listeners, I've got followers, so hopefully that people will want to continue seeing what I do if I'm not just talking about mini games or Survivor all day or playing Brand Steels every day,
Period. I mean, can't you just do your MarkTalks at another time?
I like the idea of having it as a schedule. That's real.
No, I'm saying if you're about to go back to work.
Well, we'll figure it out. I mean, I'm not. I really don't have any information yet. I just know that my job is returning. That's all I know.
I got you.
Sure.
But that's how it is. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about with the Monarch before we start wrapping up? Because I love this game so much. The Monarch is top tier for me as a player. It's up there with Banishment and Castaway as games I have so much love for. Give me 5 minutes, I'm ready to play.
I guess I would just say for anybody who has not played the Monarch, if you ever felt like you were targeted into a game and you could not defend yourself, the Monarch is literally the game for you. If you are good at comps, well, it might not be the game for you because they target you early, but you are able to control more in this game than in a lot of the games. So if you want to have some kind of control, or if you just want to have fun, hang out with me and Aiden, come play the Monarch.
And what's cool too, we try to minimize twists as much as possible.
Mhm.
Like there's a couple of things that are pretty much canon in the game, right? It's like in the basic rules that like you don't know until you play. And you don't know until you play, so I guess those could be seen as twists. But like, we really have the base game, and every season or so, we introduce something new that doesn't drastically change anything.
Mhm.
Because a lot of these games, it's like, I mean, Ganjo got voted out with a negative vote one time. Like,
Yeah,
what, that was crazy. And like, whatever. Like, some games are full of twists, but like, that's not our thing. Straightforward ish.
No, most definitely. We most definitely want the stuff to be chill.
Well, I think you guys for being here because like that it's always great talking to people that will all love and respect for. And when you asked me to be, I'm like, yeah, please. Like you're Ganjo, you know how much I adore you, man. And
Same.
Aiden, I tolerate you very much.
Hey, after my showing in the adventure game, that is fair. That is totally warranted.
You were
Fair.
home. You used to get very, very drunk, like Kevin Falk drunk at the
Which we
end.
love.
But that's okay.
Oh no, hey, no, I wasn't Kevin Falk drunk. Come on, what are we doing?
You were Kevin Falk drunk. But yeah, so for people who want to follow the Monarch, you can do that Monarch game on Twitter. As you saw, All Stars Part 2 is on March 14th. I think if you just DM the Monarch game, I think Ganjo will send you the Zoom link for that.
Oh no, listen.
And
Well, yes, the Zoom link, but we streaming for the first time, March 14th.
Right. Oh, sorry, I meant like afterwards. So
Yes,
that's
yes.
what my brain read it as. But yes,
Okay.
so you can watch it that way on Twitch. Also, follow Ganjo at Ganjo the Dank at 2 on Twitter and Aiden at Acampolentano on Twitter. You guys are fucking incredible. I'm gonna just do my quick small things for the show. Of course, I'm gonna let you guys know you're both invited to be on my Brant Steel this week. Would y'all like to be on it?
Yes, I lost in a blaze of glory last time.
I don't know. I'm 1 for 1. I won the Banishment All Stars one.
That's right. That's the only you've ever done mine. Yeah.
Come back.
All right, I'm in. I'm in. 1 for 1. Me and Chiquita. I was saving Chiquita the whole time.
Chiquita's always in danger. Yeah. So, also, I like to promote this because, oh my God, it's always great to get a chance to talk to Frail Mary.
Frail Mary.
On MarkTalk. Yeah, she. So like my friend Graham got me to connect with her, and because she was about doing a Boy Meets World show, and I have my own Boy Meets World show, so she does my Boy Meets World show every once in a while. This is her second episode, and we talked about Band on the Run, which is the episode where Corey and Sean make a band while not having any musical talents at all. That's a fun episode. So next Monday we are taking a break because I am getting my second vaccine shot earlier that day, and I don't want to risk it. Just be smart. Wednesday though, we are back with Josh Felix from Amnesty, which will be fun.
Yes.
And of course, you can tweet at me at MarkLevy85. And we will see you guys soon. Ganjo, Aiden, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
See you.